that we've got here. Thank you massively to our sponsor for this week's episode, the Hungry Moose Cafe. I've got a nice bacon and sausage cob here, Murchy on the bacon cob.
Just the bacon cob for me.
And I think massively, it's lasting.
It is. I'm trying to make it last.
Yeah, you could have that done.
Now, this could be gone in the next 30 seconds for me.
Yeah.
And people have seen me on this pod before. I can demolish stuff. So I'm going to try and make it last. I'm going to try and speak football and also just portion my food a bit. So I need to start doing that at some point. So yeah, it's going down very well though.
Very nice, very nice. So massive thank you to the Hungry Moose. Get yourself over to the Hungry Moose and pick up some amazing food from there. And massive shout out to the staff there. Really warm, really welcoming. And thank you ever so much for sponsoring. If you would like us to review your food on the pod, do get in touch, just like the Hungry Moose did, and we will come and pick it up. We'll come to you. Whatever works, but we will review your food for footy. So this is a Champions League special. In part one, we spoke about the new format and the most recent games that have taken place. Today, one of my favourite segments is back.
Is that because I'm back?
It's exactly. Murchy's back. So, Murchy's Marks. Right, okay, so I gave you a little challenge. Now, we obviously had to change the categories.
Yes.
And I've not given you on the fence this time.
No.
That's been taken away.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, I've given you 4 categories. We've got guaranteed finalist. Who you think is going to be in the final come May. Real chance.
Yep.
Outsider. And no chance. Now, hopefully... we'll be able to show this to people back home watching.
Fingers crossed.
We've not done all the teams. Obviously, young boys we think would go straight as as a no chance.
No chance, yeah.
So we've gone for more what you might call the bigger
traditional
clubs.
big clubs.
Yeah. So apologies if your team is missed off. And do you know what? If your team is missed off, let us know. Let us know. Put it in the comments. Where would you put them? Would you put them as real chance? Would you put them as outside? Or would you put them as guaranteed final?
Yeah.
So, I've got your list in front of me here. Okay, now, you only put one in guaranteed final.
I did, yeah. Barcelona. Now, this season they look a different team under Hansi Flick. I don't know what he's done, but he's absolutely transformed them. He's got Rafinha, who Barcelona fans last season wanted rid of. He's got him firing, and obviously they've got their young players who are coming through. Your Pedri, your Gavi, and obviously the main one, Lamine Yamal as well, who will in a few years I think will win the Ballon d'Or. He was very close in the voting. I had a look today actually. I woke up today and there was a post of all the ex-Ballon d'Or winners' picks for the Ballon d'Or. Lamine Yamal was top of everyone's list, bar the original Ronaldo. And that just shows what kind of player he is at his age as well. So, I think just the way Hansi Flick has transformed them. I've watched them a few times this season now. Obviously, I watched them in El Clasico, where they demolished Madrid. And we'll speak a bit about Madrid later. But I just think they look really, really good and solid, and just everything is just so fluid. And obviously Hansi Flick has won the Champions League before with Bayern, so he knows exactly how to get his teams playing in the cup. I just think they look a different breed at the minute.
The only thing that worries me with Barca is surely, and we've been saying this for a long time, surely these financial issues are going to catch up with them. You know, they've not got rid of them. You know, they sign players. Olmo they signed and couldn't register him straight away. I don't see them sustaining success, but yeah, it's nice to have them back. It wasn't quite the same when
a few years
when they dropped down.
Yeah.
But no, doing really, really well. I don't think many people are going to argue with you there. Well, Real fans maybe, but
probably will.
Speaking of Real, you put Real in real chance.
Yes. Now, Madrid this season been really strange. I don't know if it's the departure of Cruz in the summer, his retirement, because we know how good he was. He basically dictated his games. If Real Madrid needed a game dictating, he would do it. He was that good. Or is it the arrival of Mbappe that's unsettled him? I mean, that might be a discussion for another time, maybe. But there's been some stuff in the media about him in France as well, with going back and forth with Deschamps. So has that unsettled them? I just think they look really sluggish and poor this season. And we've seen that midweek again in their loss to Milan. And I think there was it might have been the first or second goal. Chouameni had it, and it was an awful pass, and nobody reacted. They all just was just walking. It was really weird to see a Madrid team play that poorly. But they're still in real chance because they're Real Madrid.
They're Real Madrid. Yeah.
And we know what Real Madrid do in the Champions League. They win. They win. So they've still got that real chance, I think. They'll probably will come good eventually. Whether the team dynamics need to be changed or sorted out, I don't know. But I think Real Madrid will come good eventually. But at the moment, they look really poor.
The thing is, I think looking at your list for real chance, you've got Man City, Real Madrid, Inter, and Bayern Munich. Now, I think there's a very big omission there, but we'll come to that.
Yeah.
But I think you look at those, they've won the European Cup. City, I think, are the slightly different ones from what I'm about to say, because City, I don't think they have the European nous, if you will. No. But what they have is they have a massive amount of money, amazing players. You know, it was going to happen eventually, success for them. Yeah. But Real Madrid have this know-how in the Champions League. How many times have we seen Real Madrid fumble in the group stage, scrape through, and then
win the whole lot,
and then get better and better and better? I think Mbappe is a really good point. There's actually a few similarities for what's happening with him and Marcus Rashford. In the fact that both came onto the scene really young.
Yeah.
Could have played, I think, anywhere along the front. I mean, people kept saying that Rashford wasn't a number 9. When he first came in,
when he first broke through, he was a number 9. I remember him playing. And obviously, I'm not a United fan, but I remember him coming through. I think, did he score in his debut in the Europa League? And he was playing because they had injuries.
They had loads of injuries.
They had no 9, so they put him at 9. Obviously, he scored. And then they played him in the Prem as a 9. He scored again. So he come through as a 9. And obviously, then he shifted over to the left, which is probably his best position. But like I said, Mbappe is quite similar. But is he a 9? Is he a winger? An inside forward, kind of, Henry was back in the day? I don't know, and Real Madrid probably needs to try and sort it out.
He's world class.
He is world class.
Mbappe is world class. Any team would have him in the world. I think his injury in the World Cup, his facial injury, impacted him more than we realise him.
Yes.
Because he wasn't the same in the Euros after that.
No.
And he hasn't hit this season running. And I get it. I get it. You know, look at he wasn't quite as serious, well, nowhere near as serious, but look at like Petr Cech and this sort of stuff. It's a big injury, and I think it did impact him a little bit. He's obviously got to get used to the Spanish league, and actually, I was begging for Mbappe to join a certain English team. And I think the Premier League would suit Mbappe better than the Spanish league.
The pacing would really help him out.
Yeah, how defenders
it's not too dissimilar from the French league. Obviously, the French league's quality is pretty significant in how worse it is to the Premier League. But the way that the football and the style of play is played, it would probably suit him more.
Yeah, Spanish football is slower, it's more technical.
Look at Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
Someone who's known for running in behind.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mbappe doing that, Jesus, man.
Oh, he'd tear it up, I think.
Yeah, of course he would.
I think he also stayed in PSG too long. I think he should have moved.
Should have gone a few years ago.
Should have moved a few years ago to help his development.
Yeah.
But no, you can't rule Real out. No. I think Inter is an interesting shout from you.
Yeah. I think Inter for me, they've kind of just been steadily going along for the last few years. And people have not really picked it. Obviously, they got to the final a few years ago against City.
Yeah,
should have won. If for not a certain Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah. City's hero on the day.
Yeah, he was City's hero. But they've been steadily going along for a few years now, and they've been really good in Serie A. They've in the Champions League. They've been very good defensively. They're very organised, and I think a team like that is built for cup competitions.
Yep.
And I think they've always got this real outsider's chance. I think they're the best team in Italy by far. And and they have been for a few years now. Obviously, Napoli had their year where they won it. AC Milan had their year where they won it. But I think Inter have just steadily been going on for a few years now. And obviously they've got Lautaro Martinez as well, who I thought probably should have finished in the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or. But that's probably another argument for another time. So they've got a very good team, solid defensive there, got a fantastic striker. Yeah, I think they've got a real chance.
Does the Italian league hold them back?
It probably does. It's the Italian league.
It's not what it once was.
No, and I don't think it will ever be that again.
No.
But yeah, I think the way Inter set up, they are built for a cup competition. So I think you'll see them steadily just go on and probably end up making the quarters and semis. And from there, they've got a real chance.
Now, in outsiders, you put Arsenal and Liverpool.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fairly obvious that I would disagree with one of those.
Arsenal. No.
Because of the pedigree of that particular team.
Yeah.
When we're talking about Champions League know-how, I think you saw it midweek.
Yeah.
That game had 0-0 all over it.
Yeah.
And actually, end of the first half, I was thinking this could be 1-0 to Leverkusen.
Yeah.
They might nick it. I hugely believe in club and crowd know-how. Because I think Arsenal I want to come on to. When you see Arsenal play in the Champions League final, they've never, not final, in the Champions League, they've not won it, and they don't have that real fan experience. No. I think you can feel that the atmosphere get very tense very quickly. Oh, what's going to happen here? Whereas I think you go to the Bernabeu, you go to the Nou Camp, you go to Anfield, the Allianz, teams that have this pedigree, the fans understand that it will take time, and they also understand the importance they can have. So when a game is flat, is 0-0, is going towards something else, the fans understand, the club understands, and then they often go and get a result. I don't think that these things happen by accident. I think they happen from an experience. I'm going to go on a little Arsenal rant here.
Yeah, go for it.
Arsenal fans, I'm getting a little bit sick of you, okay? Because it's just complaining all the time. I watch a lot of this sort of content on YouTube, and all I keep seeing is Arsenal fans talking about your injuries. You had Saliba and Gabriel as your centre-backs against Inter. They were playing. They were there. Odegaard was back. Saka was there. Timber's around. Who are you missing? Before you played a certain Northwest team in a 2-2 draw, you were saying about, we had all these injuries. 2. You had 2 people missing, okay? And, Gabriel went off during the game. But this the world is against us mentality. Refereeing decisions don't go away with these yet red cards you've had. The rules have been made clear, don't kick the ball away. And you've done it twice. So I think it's absolutely crazy. And personally, I don't really feel for you. And I think stop whinging and start supporting your team. Because your team needs you now. That loss to Inter was huge. Yeah. Absolutely huge for you. Leaves you in 12th position in the Champions League. You put them as an outsider, though.
Yeah, I put them as an outsider. I think you're right with what you're saying. It's kind of they're playing the victim a bit now, aren't they, Arsenal? And they've been lucky for the last 2 years. They've been lucky that they've had no injuries in the last 2 years, and they've still not done anything. But I've put them in an outsider because we know what Arsenal are capable of. When they are fit and firing, they are a good team. They're a very good team. And Arteta has got them playing some really good stuff. But I think they've struggled this season. My prediction at the start of the season was them to finish 4th.
I know.
And I got slated for it. But if you look at the table now, I tell you what, you wouldn't bet against that happening. They look poor. They look really poor. I know they've missed Odegaard for the past month and a bit, but it's one player. One player doesn't make a team. Okay? So, I don't know. I think they've got an outside chance because I've seen Arsenal play and you know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've seen that enough from them this season.
Look, we have no affiliation to Arsenal. I suppose at the moment I'll take an opportunity to shout out to my nephew Javen, playing football right now. Hope you're having a good one, lads. Get a hat-trick. He has just declared his allegiance and he's picked Arsenal.
Oh, God.
I know. But that means there's an Arsenal fan in the family. And look, he picked them because they play wonderful football.
Yes,
they do play wonderful football. I think this, I really liked Monday Night Football where Carragher did that piece about comparing to Mourinho, because way back we did the Chelsea episode. Mourinho is a compliment. I know it's not often seen now as a compliment, but that team was horrible to play against, but brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I think this whole Arteta morphing into Mourinho, I can see it. I can see where they're coming from. But that's not a negative thing.
No, I don't think it's a negative
Not
thing.
a negative thing.
If you're being compared to Mourinho, the guy has won everything.
He's a winner.
Like, bloody hell.
Well,
I would happily take being compared to Mourinho over Steve Cooper anyway.
Well, you think about Arsenal, you think about Arteta. Arteta, I love that Arsenal fans love him. Great. I can see why other fans don't like him. I could see why other fans didn't like Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see all this. But actually, comparing him to Mourinho, look how far he's come. Because when he first came in, people were laughing, going, "Who have you got there?"
Well, Arsenal fans wanted him out.
Exactly.
After the first year and a bit, it was lockdown time. And,
he was close.
And Arsenal fans, Arteta out.
I know.
Arteta out. Arsenal fan TV, Arteta out all the time. But suddenly, bang, he's winning everything. Oh, he's the best manager. You can't make your mind up. And this is another thing with Arsenal fans. Fickle. Very fickle. You either get behind your manager or you don't. And I've seen it. I've seen them turn. The last few weeks, there's been a few turn where they're like, oh, we should be winning the league. We should be doing this. You shouldn't be. Okay? At the end of the day, Arteta's got you backfiring.
Yeah.
It took him a year and a bit to get going. You didn't want to give him the patience. You didn't want to give Unai the patience that he probably needed. And you can see what he's doing with Villa on a much less budget with probably significantly worse players as well. I think Arsenal fans are just a bit fickle.
Yeah.
You got to remember where you are.
Yeah.
You've not won anything major for a long time. The FA Cup, fair enough.
20 years.
Yeah. When's the last time you won the Prem? Long time ago. So...
Never won the Champions League.
Never won the Champions League. Been in a final once.
Yeah.
Know your place a bit, kind of. So... Obviously, I put him in an outsider because it's Arsenal. I've seen him play well.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that you'll always hear me say about Arsenal is the squad he's built, and he did it quietly. Did it quietly, really well done, and world class players in there. Outsider, and if I'm honest, Arsenal, I think you need to win something in the next 2 years.
Yeah,
I think you have to, or else you're going to be forgotten. That team will get picked apart. And you find yourself dropping down.
When we say win something, we mean the Premier League
or Champions League. Yeah, it's got to be something big.
FA Cup and Carabao Cup. That doesn't cut it.
That can buy you a year.
Yeah.
I think that can buy you a year.
If you're Ten Hag, 4 months.
Right. I think in the no chance, you put Villa, Dortmund, Juve, AC, Celtic, PSG, Atleti.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of big names in there, but I don't think many people are going to argue with that.
Obviously, Villa fans might be watching this and think, we might have a chance. Right. I really like Villa. I love Unai Emery. If anything, I'm a bit jealous of Villa because they did something we should have done at the same time. We were both in that fight at the same time. You reacted, we didn't, and now you're reaping the rewards, and we're not. So I am a bit jealous of Villa, but I just don't think you've got the prowess to match with them teams at the top. Obviously, you're doing very well. The Bruges loss might hurt a bit, but I do think you've probably got no chance at winning the Champions League. I might have egg on my face in 7-8 months, but I can't see it.
They did really well against Bayern. But I think when you get to knockouts and you get to the two legs, home and away,
it's different.
You're going to come across teams like a Barca, like a Real, like an Inter that have the know-how. Yeah, we'll see. But no, I agree with you on that one. Right, the last thing I want to talk about in this particular segment, I'm going to finally say the name. I'll put a pound in the swear jar if it needs to be. Right. As a Liverpool fan, I have some great memories. And in the next segment, we're going to be talking about Champions League memories. But the amount of times I used to hear, you have to support the English teams. I personally do not believe that in the slightest. Now, we want your comments. This is us two talking, but get involved. Comment. Let us know what you think. Yeah. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as well. But Do you believe in this? That if you support an English team, you should want English teams to do well. Personally, I don't. Okay, we compete with United, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham on a yearly basis. I don't want them to win silverware. It doesn't work for me.
No.
If Man United win the Champions League, I don't sit there and going, I'm really glad an English team won it. No, I don't want you to have more trophies. I want us to be the best.
Yeah.
So, where do you stand on this, Murchy? Because you're
obviously it's slightly different for me because obviously I support a team who's not really known for being in Europe.
Yep.
So I look at the English teams in Europe and think, I wish that was this kind of thing. But there's never this, I support this team because they're in the Champions League kind of thing. Now, do I want to see an English team get to the final? Yes, because it's good TV. I like to watch it. You know that a team that you've played this season is in the final of this competition. You can watch it on telly with your mates and whatnot. Do I support them from it? No, probably not. I'd just like to see them get to a final. Whatever happens in that final is great. Also, you've got the coefficient now as well, with potentially having 5 places given to the Champions League in the Premier League if English clubs do well. So there's a bit of that from the teams who are sitting around maybe that thinking, oh yeah, if they all get through, then we might be able to finish 5th. We'll get in the Champions League next season. So, do I support another team while I'm watching the Champions League? Absolutely not. There's only one club that I support.
Yep.
And that's Leicester. Do I want to see them do well? On the fence about it. Depends if I like your team or not, if I'm honest with you. At Villa, I'd love to see Villa to go and do well because, like I said, I'm a bit jealous of you. Like, where you were at the same time as us. We went down, you went up. Would I like to see you get to the knockout? Yeah, it'd be great. Great TV. Great games to watch. But would it make me feel a bit sick, really? Like, watching you do well? Yes, it will as well. So, there's no defined yes and no for this answer. I would like to see English clubs play well in the Champions League, but I'm not supporting them doing it.
See, for me, if Villa win it, great story, I get that. But I'm looking at it a similar way to I looked at you guys winning the league.
Yeah.
Should be us. If you can win it, why shouldn't we have won it?
Yeah.
So, no, for me, it's a non-starter. I actually probably go against that, and I would rather a Real, a Barca, a Bayern win the Champions League rather than English side. But let us know your thoughts, okay? In the comments below, if you support an English team, should you want English teams to do well? I mean, I can't imagine many Real fans cheering for Barca in the Champions League.
No, it must be slightly different. Another thing as well, obviously Man City won it a few years back against Inter in the final. Now, it was bad. I was watching it with some mates, and I was cheering Man City on, and that's only because they had Riyad playing for them. And as a Leicester fan, I wanted to see Riyad go and do what he needed to do, and he did end up winning the Champions League. So for me, that was probably the odd story of supporting an English club. If there's a player in there that has played for Leicester and we've got a good connection with, obviously Riyad did really well with us. N'Golo won the World Cup, won the Champions League with Chelsea. There's always that, I want to go and see them do well. So it's more of a player thing than a club thing. But yeah, there's still not that support of a team. There's only one team for me. There's only one team for you.
Yep. Always be the way. Right, what a great way to end part 2. So, join us for part 3, where we're going to be looking at, I think, one of my favourite bits that we've done recently, memories. Champions League memories.